I was at home at my desk and I noticed a notification on my iPhone for a withdrawal request from one of my financial institutions. And I thought, that's weird. I didn't make a withdrawal request. And then I looked back at my phone and I saw that I had no service. I had $1 million stolen that night. It included my daughter's college fund, my retirement.
Imagine checking your phone one day and realizing your bank account had been drained and your life savings were stolen. That's what happened to Rob Ross, who was the victim of a type of hacking called SIM swapping.
SIM swapping is a new way for crooks to essentially take over a victim's cell phone while they're sleeping.
I didn't know this could be possible. I didn't know it could happen. In that minute, I realized that I was under attack.
SIM swapping targets the SIM cards located in cell phones. Here's how it works. A hacker using bribes or tricks somehow gets a customer service representative from a cell provider to make a SIM swap over the phone. This gives the hacker access to the victim's phone number. From there, that opens the door to the victim's email, bank accounts, and other applications.
The entire process can take as short as 20 minutes and take a victim from having $1 million in cash to literally not 1 cent left.
Fear. I just had complete fear.
Looking for help, Ross went to a group called REACT, a special task force of local, state, and federal agencies that fight cybercrime.
There's several avenues that we take when we investigate a SIM swapping. The first is by tracking the phone.
Investigators connected the phone used in this crime to other SIM swapping cases.
The scam can't work without someone physically holding a phone and connecting to a US tower. It was clear that the phone used was in Manhattan, so even though we have cell records pointing to Manhattan, a 3-mile radius could be 3 million people, but combined with all of the other evidence that we had, it was very telling that it was in fact Truglia who was in possession of that phone.
Truglia is Nicholas Truglia, a social media high flyer who at the time of the attack was just 21 years old.
When we looked at Truglia's social media after the theft from Rob Ross, he was, wearing very expensive clothing, very expensive jewelry, pictures on private jets, drinking expensive champagne. It was clear to us that he was living beyond his means of any legitimate job, which is a total red flag for us. Truglia lived on the 64th floor of, a very impressive Manhattan condominium complex with a killer view. We were able to knock on that door with Truglia being unaware until we were there.
Police say they searched Truglia's apartment and found evidence that he had committed the swap.
He had created a persona of being a rich financial genius who had somehow come upon this money through investments. But as we unfolded all of that, everything about him was a lie.
Truglia was charged on multiple counts, including computer crime with the intent to defraud. He pleaded not guilty, and his lawyer declined to comment on the case while it is ongoing.
It seems like every week there is a new way that hackers are convincing the telephone companies to change SIMs.
Ultimately, it's always going to come down to human failures at large corporations. If you can trick, bribe, or convince someone to do something bad, that's where the liability lies, and they should be held accountable.
I don't know if I'll get all my money back. I think that this is a unique type of hack attack that doesn't require much sophistication. 10-year-olds can do an illegal SIM swap.
There's not much we can do to protect ourselves from the SIM swap happening. What we can do is protect ourselves from the damage that these crooks can do once they have control of our accounts. Every account that you have is going to ask you for some sort of recovery, and what you don't want to use is your telephone.
They say using your email to verify your accounts is a better option than using your phone.
We also recommend a password manager. Don't use the same password over and over because it's likely that the people out there might be familiar with what passwords you've used in the past.
SIM hacks have been reported on all the major American cell phone networks. When he was hacked, Ross was using phone services from AT&T, CNN's parent company. Ross is suing AT&T in hopes of getting his money back. A spokesperson for AT&T said SIM swaps are committed by sophisticated criminals and that AT&T is working with our industry, law enforcement, and consumers to stop and prevent this type of crime. The company also echoed experts in urging businesses and consumers not to use mobile phone numbers as the single source of security and authentication. The spokesperson added, "It is unfortunate that Mr. Ross experienced this, but we dispute his allegations and plan to disprove them in court."